Hello, I'm Vicki Leroux from Modern Jewelry Creators. Thank you for joining me today. Each week on this channel, I share new modern jewelry designs that you can make for yourself at home that use minimal materials, minimal techniques, and take minimal time, but deliver maximum impact every time. So if that sounds like fun to you, and it really, really is, I hope you'll consider subscribing. This week is a little different. I'm going to do a dupe video. You may have seen other people do them with handbags or face cream or something, right? They take a expensive designer version and show you their less expensive dupe. And the thing is, I used to do this all the time, actually. I owned a bead shop for almost 30 years. And that was actually one of our favorite things, was to take designer pieces out of InStyle magazine and Vogue and stuff and show our customers how they could make the exact same thing or even get just the similar look themselves for less. And in this case, I am going to show you how to do the exact piece. And it's a necklace by Kendra Scott. It's called her Sydney Layered Necklace, or Sydney Multi-Strand. And I just printed out the necklace from her website. I was watching another one of my favorite YouTubers. I think it's Angie Smith, I think is the last name. Her channel is Hot and Flashy. And she was showing some of her favorite things she had just bought from Nordstrom, I think. And she showed this Kendra Scott necklace. And I'm sorry these pictures are so kind of low res, but it's the best I could do. But as soon as she was showing it with this little disc chain, I went, whoa, 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 is that my disco chain? And by mine, I mean that there's only one manufacturer in the US that makes that chain. I've been buying from them as a supplier. I mean, they've been a supplier of mine for multiple decades. And so I would recognize it anywhere. And it's gorgeous chain. It's very high quality. It's not sterling, but it's a beautiful plating over brass. There's no nickel, no lead, no zinc oxides. It's a very beautiful metal, and that's the chain. It's gorgeous in silver or gold. And I sell all the chain on my website by the foot and some by the half foot. But this is available on our website for $7.50 a foot. And the other chain she used was a little rope chain, very pretty, that I have here in silver. I have a gunmetal version too. And I have that available on the website as well. It's only like $3.50 a foot. And so she has them, layered together. And so I made literally the exact version and the exact links. Even on the description on our website, I printed out, it says the links of the chain, that one is 18 inches and one is 20 inches with a 2-inch extender chain on the back, which is what this is. So, do this against here. So, what's going on? Let's see, there's the extender. Let me move this here into the inside. There's the extender. So, the 20-inch chain is actually this one, that rope. And the 18 inches is the disco chain, because she's only using it up to the back, right? That it stops kind of here, which makes sense because you only need to have it, show in the front. So it doesn't need to go all the way around the back. But it does take a little bit of special maneuvering right here to kind of cut and attach that. But it makes sense from a business standpoint because this disco chain is expensive, right? It's almost three times the price of the other one. So this way, you're getting a longer necklace. It's draping like longer. It's hitting, 20 inches at 22-inch place, but it's only going back, so far in the back section, or 2 inches on each side, and plus there's that 2-inch extender. So it's very easy to put together. I actually made a different kind of updated version that I think looks better. But again, just to give you an idea, here's the exact dupe. And I can leave links below. You really would just need 2 feet of each chain, the rope chain and then the disco chain. And even though you're only using 18 inches on this part of it, you could easily use the other 6 inches because you have to divide it by the foot. But so if you use 18 inches for the necklace, you could easily use the other 6 inches for a bracelet because it's really pretty as a bracelet. Most bracelets are about 7.5 inches, so all it needs is a clasp, and right, and you're good to go. Now, I love her necklace, but I did an updated version. Instead of using that rope chain, I used our floating mirror chain, which I just think is prettier. So here's the gold version, and I did it by adding our little mirror chain there, which I just think it's a prettier look to me, and actually even less expensive than the original one. This little floating mirror chain is only like $2.50 a foot. So I will link all the chains below, but I want to show you the difference in how these went together. Very easy. This little rope chain has to be cut to put the jump rings in. And so what I'm going to do is lower the camera, because we are super low tech around here. I'm going to lower the camera so you can see what I mean here. And I may even just take apart a side of it so that it makes sense to you. There it is. The rope chain is so dense, right, so tight, that you're not going to be able to get a jump ring through there. The only place you can add a jump ring is the very last link, because the very last link, wherever you cut it, hangs open. There's not another link in it. And so only your very end link is where you can add a jump ring. Now, you could easily put a cord in crimp on these, which is what I'll do with the other chain. But if you wanted to put a jump ring in them, you need to use the end links. And so in order to do the jump ring here, they had to cut it. So I'm going to lower the camera. You're going to go for a little ride. Boop, 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 boop. And hopefully you can see that okay. I might move it even a little closer. Right, but so what I was saying, the end, you can only put a jump ring in the very last link. And so in order to attach this disco chain 2 inches away from the end, so instead of bringing that disco chain all the way up, they have it attached, here, a couple inches down, so that all the beauty of the chain is in the body where you can see it, which is great. But you do need to then cut this rope chain in order to add a jump ring to attach them all together, because it's just not thick enough, or like it doesn't open enough on its own to just put a jump ring through there. So let me take this apart. Maybe I'm sure it makes sense from where you are, but just so you can see it a little bit better, maybe. Try to get my fingers out of the way. Right. Now, I attach the jump ring and the extension chain on that end. Right, but so when you're putting these together, I'm leaving like the last 2 inches. I've just cut it like 2 inches down so that I can put a jump ring to attach the disco chain, right? So that jump ring is now going to go through both these ends and that chain like it does on this side. Right, so hopefully that makes sense. And so you're just figuring out, kind of your balance to it. So you can do that on one side and then hold it up and kind of decide how far you want the drape to be. So let me tip you up for a second so I can show you that. Oops, sorry. Right, so once you've done one side of it, so let's say we did that side, you would hold this up on the other side to figure out the drape, meaning how far apart you want these two chains to be. And they're only like a couple inches apart, but you could easily change that by cutting one or both of them as you need to adjust it. So it's very easy to adjust that spacing for how that's going to drape and lay. Now I want to show you how I did the gold one, because the gold one is using that little floating mirror chain, which doesn't have any link, right? even if wherever you cut it, you can't put a jump ring through it. It must have a little cordon crimp on the end in order to make it a loop, right? So if you haven't seen, it looks just like that little crimp that goes in with the loop that we crimp onto leather cord or other cording, but you also put it on small chains. And I have a video on the channel that shows you how to attach those. Very easy with a crimping plier. But so the idea is the same. Let me put it against the board maybe. So the idea is the same. I've got to cut the floating mirror chain, but I have to attach that cordon crimp on both ends, and then I can attach the jump ring to it. So I'm going to lay the camera down again, or point you down again so you can see what I mean. And I can do a quick crimp on the end of that chain so you can see it real quick. Okay, one more time. Hope you're not getting dizzy. Hopefully this will make sense. So just like with the silver Rolo chain, right, to cut it, 2 inches back or so, however where you want that to fall. And so where I cut the chain, I had to put the little crimp ends on instead. Sorry, I'm reaching over, so let me. And then, so once it's cut the length you want, and you put those little crimps on the end, then the jump ring can attach them all together. Right, so we put those little crimps on the very end that look like there. That's a silver one. The little crimp goes on the end, and then that jump ring can go between all three of them, these two loops and the loop on the end of the disc, to attach those all together, because otherwise there's no other way, right, for that to happen. And when you attach them, I don't know that it really matters the order, but I like to attach the bottom chain first. Try to do it so far away from me so you can see. And then it's going through the little hole in the disc. And then I'm putting the other one through the top. I guess it really doesn't matter, but however you want it to lay is the best way to string it on there. And then I'm just closing those flush. And what I like to do with my jump rings once they're closed is I actually use a little crimping plier, just a little kiss on the end, just to make sure it's all good. And then that's it. So before I tip you back up, I'll show that quick crimp. Though I have like I mentioned, I have a entire video on how to do it as well. But anytime you have a chain, right, so we've cut the end of that chain, but there's no length. There's no way to hook a jump ring or anything on there. And in this particular case, I need a little bit of more of that chain. So I have to cut that mirror so that I have at least a little bit of that. And I won't show this in too much detail, but just quickly so you see how fast and easy it is. And then you can go watch a video. But that little crimp, right, there's the crimp. It's 1 millimeter with a little loop on the end. Goes on the top of a crimping plier. I'm turning the crimping plier upside down with the loop facing the ground, and then I'm dropping the chain in. The chain's not stiff enough. There's no amount of laying this down, laying this in there, and then trying to pick it up. That's never going to happen. That's never going to work. Okay. So, in the top of the crimping plier, turning it over so the loop is down, dropping the chain down into the crimp and squeezing. And then squeezing up and down and going kind of up and down the whole thing. And then I'm going to turn and squeeze it again and crimp kind of almost all the way around it. So I went kind of up and down the crimp, and then I'm going all the way around it just to shape it nicely. It could take a little bit of practice, and putting it onto like leather cord, and see, then it's attached. And then we can put any kind of jump ring or whatever on the end there. So I'm going to tip you back up. Last ride. Thank you. Okay. Whoop. So, it attaches very quickly, very easily. And I was going to say the last thing, if you want to avoid all that crimping and stuff with that, the easiest thing to do, sorry, I'm playing with the chain. One of the easiest ways to do is just to then put it on the end. Just buy 2 feet of each of the chain and, figure out the spacing and then just attach the clasp on the very ends of them, right? Cut them however you want them to be spaced out and then just attach the clasp and jumper and whatever just directly to the 2 ends. Right, so if you don't want to mess with, cutting this 18 inches in the middle, that's fine. Just have it go all around the back like a normal necklace. So that's kind of the easiest way to do it, I think, is just to buy 2 feet of it, figure out your spacing, put the clasp on the back of both ends and call it a day. But if you want to save a little bit of the chain and be able to save 6 inches of it to use for a bracelet or something else, then you can do that where I just showed you, where we can break it off and attach it, part way up with whatever style you use. So I'll I'll link everything down below. All our chains, along with a discount code, BeadBabe10. There's free shipping over $25. I don't know. Please leave any kind of questions below in the comments if you like. And this was fun, and I'll try to look for more dupes, things that I can definitely show. This was a straight up dupe. Same quality, same everything. You're not having like less quality issues or anything like that. It's the exact same chain, gorgeous quality, for about a third of the price almost. So, and quick and easy. Anyone can do it. Thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe. I'd love to see you back here. And until then, sparkle brightly like the star that you are. Mwah. Peace.